I get it. My name is Doug. I want you guys to imagine coming home from the gym or work, and all you can do is just think about taking a shower. And while taking that shower, you start to develop burns, rashes, and skin irritation from the water. You start to discover fizzing bubbles coming from your faucet. Your dogs won't even drink the water, and there's white smoke coming from your faucet, and you try to light your water on fire, and it actually lights on fire. My speech is on fracking. Hydrofracking is extraction of gas and oil introduced in 1940s to gain access to fossil fuels. Hydraulic fracturing is the smashing of rock with millions of gallons of water and sand with a mixture of chemicals to bring natural gas to the surface. There has been a fracking boom within the last 10 years, and there are at least 2 million wells, mostly in the West Coast. My proposition today is how fracking causes health and environmental effects. My claims will be, first, fracking causes contamination of water. Second, fracking produces air pollution impacts. And third, fracking results in exposure to toxic chemicals. Going back to fracking causes contamination of water, there are millions of toxic fluids when drilling wells, not just the added chemicals. There are also naturally occurring chemicals, radioactive material, liquid hydrocarbons, brine water, and heavy metals. Methane is the main component in the groundwater. Although methane is non-hazardous to humans, according to Kip Doyle, who is the owner of moldinghealth.com and has 30 years experience with machines, states that methane is very explosive and should be taken with precaution. According to Earth Justice, 2 homes in Grainger County have been deemed a public health threat by the Federal Health Agency because of potential explosive levels of natural gas in their drinking water. It is considered explosive when hazardous exceeds 10%. The 2 homes were at 34 and 47%. My second claim would be fracking produces air pollution impacts. According to the American Lung Association, 60% of all Americans live in areas where pollution has reached unhealthy levels and can potentially make you sick. Of course, methane is the main component in the natural gas and is 25% more potent than carbon dioxide and trapping it into the atmosphere. A recent study done by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration states that 4% of the methane that is being produced by wells is escaping into the atmosphere. The Associated Press stated that Wyoming's air quality in rural drilling sites is worse than Los Angeles. Wyoming's ozone level recorded at 124 parts per billion, and Los Angeles at 114. The Environmental Protection Agency maximizes health limits at 75 parts per billion. Tony Brosworth, who is a pioneer from Friends of the Earth, says, shale gas is not the solution to energy challenges. We need a 21st century energy revolution based on efficiency and renewable, not more fossil fuels that could affect climate change. Finally, fracking results in exposure of toxic chemicals. Each well produces about 40,000 gallons of chemicals. When extracted, to 70% of the fracking fluid can be resurfaced, bringing the chemicals to the surface. A research study of toxins in Garfield County for the air monitoring program to detect health risks. The study was done 4 miles upwind, away from other major contributors. They collected air quality from homes less than and more than half a mile away. They concluded that people who live in homes near the wells have a greater chance of getting cancer, and benzene is the main contributor. A 2011 article, the Human and Ecological Risk Assessment, examines the potential health impacts of the gas drilling. There are 632 chemicals from drilling operations throughout the U.S., 75% of which can affect the skin, eyes, and sensory organs, respiratory and gastrointestinal system. Hydraulic fracturing sand contains 99% silica. Crystalline silica can cause silicosis, which is a lung disease where lung tissue around trapped silica particles reacts, causing inflammation and scarring, and it reduces the lungs to take in oxygen if inhaled by workers. It is incurable but preventable. The National Institute of Occupational Safety collected air samples from 11 fracking sites around the country. 31% of the samples were silicon concentrated, which exceeded the National Institute of Occupational Safety exposure by a factor of 10. Which means if workers were wearing a respiratory equipment, they would not be adequately protected. I hope all you guys all can agree that fracking causes environmental and health impacts. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Doug, the proposition is phrased like an informative thesis statement. You're going to tell us how fracking causes these harms. You want a declarative sentence, which is fracking causes these harms. How it causes these harms, like you're going to do a how-to speech. It's an informative presentation then. You're making an argument, so use a declarative sentence on that. You previewed the secondary issues pretty clearly. I didn't think there was any problem there. And you signposted them reasonably well as you got to each one of those, although it did feel a little bit like you got to that second point without identifying the secondary claim, but I knew that you'd kind of changed the subjects there. The evidence is a little problematic in a couple of spots. I thought some things got better as you went along. For example, at the end when you were talking about worker exposure to the silica, I thought you had some good statistical information there, and you talked about what the risk level is. That's, of course, at the fracking sites. At the beginning, though, you're talking about these natural gas and methane things, and you mentioned, for instance, 2 homes that are condemned, and I'm going, okay, and what is their relationship to fracking? Because there's no explanation about how that fracking has put natural gas or methane into these homes. I don't know where the connection is there. You need to explain what the relationship is. If they believe it's leakage from a nearby fracking site, you didn't say that. I didn't get any explanation of that. The methane in the atmosphere, the closest that you get to really quantifying anything that is potentially harmful is the difference between the fracking sites in Wyoming versus Los Angeles and the amount of benzene in the area. And the first question that occurred to me is, does anybody live near these fracking sites? Because I've been to Wyoming and there's a whole bunch of nothing up there, and so fracking sites, they might have a high concentration, but is there risk to anybody because of that? And the further you get away, it dissipates. Is that a problem? I think that's one of those things that you need to make an argument. Maybe it drifts, maybe it collects, I don't know. But that needs to be filled in a little bit more. Like I said, I thought your later arguments got a little bit more focused with the proof that you were providing. All right, thank you.